can't draw the screen. Alright.
Auf See. Ich halte es nicht mehr aus.
Probably not recording sound, but I'll talk anyway, just in case. You never know your luck. Right, crew management. I've got 7 officers, which does help. Squads. I've left it at 6 sailors on each, which is 18 in total on 3 watches. I haven't mucked about with their timing. My watch officers, 2 sailors each. Unnamed, so it could be anybody that's available.
Wir sind schon so lange auf See. Ich halte es nicht mehr aus.
He's what's he? A radio officer has got 1 assistant because that gives him a better range. My sonar operator at the moment hasn't got any sailors because I think he's fresh on board. I haven't had him for a while. Oh no, that's another watch officer who's covering for my sonar operator who's away doing other things on shore. And then both engineers, the chief engineer and the mechanic, have both got 2 sailors each to help them with the engines and help the torpedo reloading.
Wir sind schon so lange auf See. Ich halte es nicht mehr aus.
I've changed some tasking. Captain's alone, he's his main watchkeeper. He also does a bit of navigation and settles disputes. Bosun, I can't remember what changes. I think I needed to add watchkeeping to him. That's pretty high priority, but stopping us getting lost is an even higher priority. And the QM, I've added watch officer to him. I don't think he did watch officer as standard, and again he helps out with navigation, but mainly he's rearming. Also, if I'm getting close to things, if I'm getting close to enemies or I want to use guns, I'll swap the QM over, either the QM or Hagen out, and I'll make one of them the gunner. Radio officer is also my backup for the sonar, ASDIC, whatever you want to call it. He's a mechanic, he's a medic today, right? Okay, so radio officer. I couldn't make Webber because Webber's a fresh recruit. It wouldn't let me make him the technical officer, which is a bit of a pain, but never mind. So I've made him a medic, which is a backup role. I've given him sonar as a main role, as well as medical assistance. So I've still got cover for the sonar, even though my normal sonar operator is doing other things. And finally, chief engineer and old Herman. I have... Oh, it's swapped it back again. I want him to be warming up. So swap that back. Swap that back. That's the way I want him. So I want him to load. I want him to warm up before he loads another troop. Well, what I do during an attack is, if I don't need flat out speed, I'll make the chief engineer also a mechanic. I'll swap the roles over so that I've got all hands to torpedoes. And I'll save that preset if it'll let me. Save preset, so that should be a permanent change. Scheduling for the watches. I've got them working, how have I got this organised now? So they're working 8 on and then 16 off at the moment. I think that's how I've got it set. I had it 8 on and then 8 free and then 8 off. Didn't work out too well, so this at the moment seems to be working out quite nicely. So there's always one watch on and they're doing an 8-hour stint. Captain is doing 4 on, 4 off, 4 free. 4 on, 4 off, 4 free. Haganu is in a watch pattern with him, so he takes over, and then Wagner takes over from him, and they're all working a staggered 4 on, 8 off system. Again, I've got on off, on off, on off for the radio operator, and I will have once I've finished setting it up. Now that we've got change of crew. Oops. Arg. Too early in the morning, my hand's not working. I need coffee. I bet this isn't recording my voice. Right, okay, so that's those two set up, staggered.
Diese Routine bringt
Don't
mich
groan at me, crew.
jeden Tag das Gleiche.
Wachter is the chief engineer. He's on 4 on 4 again. 4 on 4 off 4 anything, 4 on 4 off 4 anything. So is the mechanic. And I swap and change those roles as I need. If one's exhausted, I'll swap him, making the mechanic make the other one the chief engineer, because the chief engineer is on constantly. If there's no torpedoes left, they both end up as chief engineers. I'll just swap them around as an easy job to swap their roles without coming into this crew. And the crew screen. There they are. I don't muck about with that. That's my setup. It seems to be working quite nicely. They are basically full. The crew are basically full of beans. And radio operator's happy. He's the medic. He should be. He's okay. He's off duty anyway. Engineers are happy. He's snoozing away because the torpedoes should all be warm, hopefully. Let's just check that. I don't mind because I'm not in the fight. I'm not in fighting grounds as yet. Yeah, one's needing done. But he's probably off duty anyway. When he comes on duty, he'll do his bit. Once he's done all the torpedoes, he'll take over as engineer. He's got 2 to do at the moment. 2:38, so 4 o'clock. He's probably on duty at 4. Have a look. Tasks, no, not tasks scheduled. So he should be on duty. Yeah, 4 o'clock he comes on duty, so he'll go and warm the torpedoes up, and then he'll move on to engines. That is how I do my setup. I wonder if this recorded that properly. Let me just save that and drop out of it. And the ship more or less looks after itself. Oh, wrong. Save, normal save, gameplay mode, realistic, dum-de-dum-de-dum, manual item delivery, I haven't tried that. They're both carrying, that's one of your ideas, both carrying first aid. They're carrying their packs are loaded from on my ship anyway, so they're carrying around stuff all the time. I'm not even attempting hardcore aiming mode. Too much like hard work. Graphics. Big for a 10-year-old computer. Controls, whatever. That's it, come out. Come on, drop out. I want coffee.